Alright, so I thought a video of what I'm currently feeding the gliders would help you so you would know Brandy, and so that's what this is. I'm going to start out, I get them Gliderade. The bag for this got a tear in it, so I had to put it in these little containers. I'll be bringing those, of course. It comes in a package like this. I get it from Exotic Nutrition. I used 2 little ramekins, basically, and it's a it's a 1/4 of a teaspoon per glider. So get a level teaspoon of each, put that in there. So it's quarter teaspoon per glider of the Gliderade. Then their complete food, their pellet food, is called Glider Complete. I also would give them one that had it had papaya in it, and papaya and eucalyptus. I'm out of it. I was going to order some more to bring with me with the gliders, but it wasn't going to get to the house in time. Sorry about that. This is what it looks like. It's got pieces of dried fruit. They eat the dried fruit out of it, obviously, but they also eat the pellets. I mean, they don't eat all of them, but I give 1 tablespoon per glider, so it's 2 tablespoons of the Glider Complete. And then finally, I have some instant HPW, and I give them a 1/2 of a tablespoon of this, and I may have to put it in a little plastic container because the seal is tearing up on it. So a 1/2 tablespoon, I'm sorry, half a tablespoon of instant HPW, a 1/4 teaspoon of Gliderade, and 2 tablespoons, 1 tablespoon per glider of the Glider Complete. Pointing at stuff that's off camera. Glider Complete, tablespoon per glider. Instant HPW, a 1/2 tablespoon for the 2 gliders, and then the Gliderade, a 1/4 teaspoon per glider. The Gliderade, I take boiling water and mix a 1/2 of a teaspoon. I'll add a 1/2 of a teaspoon of water to each one, and then I add 1/2 a teaspoon of pineapple juice, just to make it more delectable. Obviously, you don't have to do that, but it's what they've been eating. They eat all of this every night, essentially. And then I add to the instant HPW, I add a 1/2 of a teaspoon of water, and then a 1/2 of a tablespoon of water. So that would be a total of I think 12.5 milliliters. I think that's 0.25 milliliters is wearing off. Sorry, I had to get a knife. So then I just mix up the Gliderade, get the lumpiness out of it. Mixes pretty quickly. Mix up each one. then to each one of them, I add, this is added to the Gliderade, have acacia gum in the powder, and it's almost out. Again, I was going to order some more of this and bring with me, but I couldn't get the order to me in time. So, and I eyeball it. This is about 1/8 of a teaspoon. Sometimes I go a little bit less than that even. But I just put that acacia gum in there as powder, and I don't mix it up. I used to mix it up, but they eat it more completely if I don't mix it up. So I just let it sit on top. I mix up the instant HPW. It'll mix up into a almost, it'll mix up a little bit. As the more you mix it, it thickens up some. And you can't, as you can see on, I'll bring it in the bag. You'll see on the bag, it can't be left in there beyond a day. I guess it goes bad. I never leave any of the food in there. I take it all out before I empty everything out and clean their dishes every night. So they're never eating old food. That's what I put in each one of those. Now for the Gliderade, I'm going to walk off camera for a moment. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I add a little bit of this Gummivore Fair, just a little bit. After, I think it's 14 days, this has to be frozen, and you can't freeze it in the jar. So I have some that's frozen right here, and I don't put much in there. I think it's kind of a treat, meant to be kind of a treat. So I just put a little bit in there with their Gliderade, and with the Gliderade and the acacia gum. It's kind of tough to get out once it's frozen. Found that if I put too much of this in there, oddly enough, you would think they would eat more of it. Sometimes they'll eat less if I seem to put too much in there. So I just put that in there and let it melt. I'll usually add either a little bit of just a little bit of fresh fruit or some more dried fruit to the Glider Complete, and then for the instant HPW, I take and I add either dried fruit or fresh fruit and some nuts or seeds, just a little bit, like either some walnuts that I've chopped up or some almonds that I've chopped up, because each of those are high in calcium. I take those and I'll push them down into the, in fact I can get some out of here and do it. I think this is a piece of dried fruit out of the Glider Complete, and I'll cut it into a couple smaller pieces, and I just take this and a toothpick and just drop it down in there, and then whatever else I want to add, and I shove it up underneath the instant HPW. They won't really eat a lot of the instant HPW unless I put stuff in there like this, and then as they get it out, they have to eat they get the instant HPW on their little paws or feet or hands, and they have to lick it off. And I also add, this is what I put I'll feed them some crickets tonight and some mealworms, or some waxworms maybe, probably crickets and mealworms. I'll put those in here also, but I don't jab them down in. I just put them on top. And of course, I take the crickets and mealworms and I put them in a little container and with a little bit of calcium powder, and I shake them around for a minute to make sure that the gliders get enough calcium. So that's probably 10 more minutes of info that you wanted from me, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. I'm going to stop the video, but I'm going to put I'll put a little bit more in here. Make sure they eat more of the instant HPW because it's really good for them. The glider good for them too, and that's that. I mean, I can of course send you all this in an email too if you want, and if you have any questions, of course you can always call or text me. And that's what they eat.